Hey guys, this is Andrew with rockclass101.com. One thing I want to mention before we get started, guys, is that rockclass101.com is going to be going in a bit of a different direction. We're going to be doing a lot more lessons that are actually playing solos, licks, riffs. We're going to have a new section that's going to be all free that will be called Technique 101. And as the name implies, it'll cover everything from alternate picking to legatos. We're even going to put in some music theory in there too. But the membership section will be transitioning from chord melodies to more rock guitar, blues, pop, funk, R&B kind of playing. More things that you can do when you're hanging in a band. And this was kind of the guitar playing style that got me really hooked. So I hope you guys dig it. Remember, our site is the value leader. It's only $3.95 a month. So give it a shot for 1 month, and I think you'll learn quite a bit. Today, we're going to be doing a lesson on 3 solos that I wrote for 12-bar blues in E, and it's 3 levels of difficulty. So we have beginner, intermediate, and advanced, as you saw. And the idea behind this was to play changes, meaning that as each chord changes, what we play on the guitar will reflect that chord. A lot of times when I listen to people play over a 12-bar blues, they always just stay in like the pentatonic. So we're in E, so that means we would be staying in E minor pentatonic. Which is cool if you stay in that box, but it just gets a little boring and repetitive after a while. Not to say that it doesn't work, but I wanted to do something that was a little bit more interesting, a little bit more melodic, so I hope you guys dug it. Remember, follow along with the tabs, and if you're not up to par to play the advanced stuff, just give it a shot, because that's how you get better, is by pushing yourself and challenging yourself to play things that are a little bit harder than you can get. But remember, always work it slow and up to speed. So, here we go. Alright guys, so the beginner solo will begin with taking your middle finger, putting it on the D, which is the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and we're going to hit the 3rd fret and that 1st string open together, and we're going to slide up a whole step. Then you're going to go back down to the 3rd and the open 1st, hit those together. The next one will be strings 3 and 2. We're going to put middle finger on the 3rd fret of string 3 and index finger on the 2nd fret of string 2, and we're going to slide up a half step. And then the last one is going to be a walking up lick, which is kind of like that. And I use only my middle finger for that. So you guys can hear that it's all kind of that 8th note swung kind of rhythm as well. It's not just straight 8th notes. So we have the first 4 bars, which is the E7. So if I was to count that out, you guys can hear 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so first 4 bars, E7, knocked out. Next one is going to the A7 chord, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be playing out of an A7 arpeggio, which is right there. So you guys go ahead and take 2nd finger, put it on the 7th fret of string 4. Then we're going to play 1st finger on the 6th fret of string 3, followed by pinky on 9. Take your middle, put it on string 2. We're going to slide 8 to 10. So we have just like that. But we can swing the rhythm a bit too. Followed by 1st string, we're going to go 8, 9, 12, slide 8 to 9, and then end on 10 on string 2. So the second half was So put that together slowly. So that covers what happens over the A7 chord. So now when we go back to the E7 chord, we're going to play this lick. And that lick right there, you can see that it highlights an E triad. And that E triad is the same one that you guys are familiar with down here, just that basic E. If we go up to the 12th fret, remember the guitar repeats. So we have the same E shape, but if we get rid of those bass notes, what are we left with? What we're playing out of. So start on the 15th fret, and it's the first string. We're going to slide up a half step, then play 15 on 2, 16 on 3, 14, slide 12 to 13, and then 14 on 4 and 12 on 4. So we have okay, the next one is that triad, and you can just build it one by one. So it's 14 on 4, 13 on 3, and index lays flat on 12 for string 1 and 2. Slowly we put it together. And that's what we get. The next part is going to be going from the 5 to the 4 chord, which is the B7 to the A7. So we're just going to play an arpeggio out of out of B7, and then it goes to A7. But we jazzed it up a little bit, so it was. So what I'm doing here slowly is going to be 14 on 5, 13 on 4, 16 on 4. And guys, this is a box pattern, or a box shape, meaning that we have each finger getting its own fret. So think of that. It's really important for this kind of playing that we use efficiency. So box just meaning that each finger gets its own fret, 13 to 16. So let's do this one again. We have as the first part, right? So it's 2, 1, 4. Next one is going to be middle finger on 14 on string 3. Then we're going to do a hammer on pull off, 13, 14. Take pinky, go back to 16 on 4, back to 13 on 3, and end on 14 on 4. Sometimes for a little expression too, I'll take that 13 and I'll just do a little micro bend. You can hear it just gives it a little character. That same lick repeats a whole step down. So you can hear now that we're in A7. So we went from B to A, right? B7 to the A7 arpeggio. After that, we're back into E7. So this is bar 11. And we're just going to do a straight pentatonic lick. So it's open first, then we're going to go 3 pull off to open, 2 pull off to open, 4 pull off to open on the 4th string, 2 to O. So, and then we're going to do a B7 arpeggio. So a lot of arpeggios are happening in the beginner one. So this one has a rhythm where we're going to hit 3 times. So it's just a triplet, right? 8th note triplets. So remember, same box shape. This one is frets 1 to 4. So that's everything for the beginner solo, and we'll go ahead and listen to that all the way through real quick, and then we'll come back and we'll learn everything for the intermediate solo. So guys, the intermediate solo begins kind of very similar to the beginner solo, but it just gets a little bit busier. So for the first 4 bars that we're playing for E7, we're going to do the same slide in. And then we're going to do the same thing going back to the 3rd fret on the 2nd string, but we're just adding a rhythm. So you can think of it as ba-da-ba-dum. Right? Same thing on the 3rd. Bar 3, we're going to do 2nd fret of string 3, slide to 4. And then we're going to do 2nd string, play the 3rd fret, and then pull off 5 to 3. Then play 4 on string 3, back to 3 on 2. 4, slide back to 2 on string 3. Pull off to open, and then we're going to do 2-0-2 on string 4. So it's a pull off hammer on. Next, after that, is the A7, right? So we're on bar 5 now, and bar 5 is going to be a lick that I actually stole from Knight Driscoll, who's the president at the Atlanta Institute of Music and Media. So my friends watching this will get a laugh out of it, because I used to steal it all the time for playing in the blues and stuff on stage back at college, music college. But let's go ahead and learn it. It's a real cool lick. So we're in a box shape from 7 to 10. And we're going to start on 10 on string 1, go to 9 to 7, just like that. Then on string 2, we're going to go 8, hammer on to 9, back to 7 on 1, to 9 on 1. This time around, we're going to go 8, pull off to 7, and then 9 on 3. Slower. After that, we're just going to go up an octave and hit the E. So the 12th fret on string 1. And that's going to hang for 2 bars, right? Back when we get to the E7. So you guys can just put, a bit of a vibrato. Think B.B. King. I can't do his vibrato. It's freaking awesome. So watch that and try and learn his little technique. It's cool though. So now we're at the turnaround part, which is the 5 to the 4 chord. So the licks that we have are going to be B7 to the A7. So remember, it's just like the 5-4 that we did on the beginner, where once you learn it once, it's the same thing, move down a whole step. So we're going to start on 14 on string 1, and our box is 11 to 14 for this one. We're going to pull off 4 to 1, then middle finger on string 2, so that's 12th fret, and then 11, hammer on to 14 on string 3, and then back to 12, and then back to string 1, which is 11, 14. So you can think of it just kind of goes up and back down. Same thing, going down a whole step. Cool? So just work on that one. And it's a little tricky, like, because you've got a lot of first and fourth finger going. So if your pinky is your weakest finger, try and make it even with your other fingers. Now the next part will lead us back into E7, and we have, so it's going to be a box again from 4 to 7. So we're going to go 7 on 1, first finger to second, all on string 1. Pinky on 7 on string 2, back to first finger on 1, middle finger on 2, then we're going to walk down 7, 6, 4, string 3. Alright, and arguably I think maybe the hardest lick is what happens on the 5 chord right here, the B7. And this one is doing an arpeggio again, right? The same arpeggio we did at the end of the beginner, right? But this time we're just going to keep going with it. So you can see right here, think of that A chord, right? If you go up a whole step, it becomes B, right? So if you have that basic A chord and you have that open E, right? You got to go up a whole step with that. And we have that shape, right? So you can see we're highlighting that B. Everything here is just highlighting that B7. So we have second on 5, 1 on string 4, 4 on 4, 2 slide to 4 on string 3. Then I put the ring finger underneath that, so it's 4th fret of string 2. First finger on 2 on string 1. Then pinky's going to slide 5 to 9. Middle finger plays 7. First finger plays 5, 4. So that one is just tricky. You just got to practice that one over and over again, but it is a cool little transition. So guys, that's everything for the intermediate solo. So we're going to cut to that, listen to it real quick, and then we'll cut back and we'll learn the advanced solo. Alright guys, so the advanced solo is, remember, it starts at the very end of that B7 lick, and you left off on the 4th fret of string 1. Now, due to the timing that you have, which is it's real tight to catch in, I think it's a lot easier to slide in for this one. Instead of 3 to 5, we're going to slide in 4 to 5 on string 2. So that's kind of a very stock, kind of Stevie Ray Vaughan inspired lick. That's the first 4 bars for E7 for the advance. We're just gonna, like I said, slide in 4 to 5. And we can have that kind of rhythm, that's cool. And we just keep walking up with it. So the first one will be, the second one goes 8 on string 2 and 7 on string 1. This whole time you can put in some of that vibrato. Just make those notes ring a bit. Next is 12 on string 2 and 10 on string 1. And then another whole step up, we're going to go 14 and 12. And then we're going to go 15 and 14. hit that once and go back to 14 and 12. So the next one will be highlighting the A7 chord, and just like we talked about that E shape that was moved up an octave, it's that same shape, right? It's that E chord shape, right? Think cage system, except we remove the bass and we're left with this, right? And the only thing different I'm going to do is instead of barring, partial bar that index finger, I'm just going to keep it on 4, 3, and 2. So I'm on 7, 6, 5. So this one, you're going to slide a half step into 7 on string 4. And then we're going to put down the middle finger and then the first finger. So I'm sliding in 3, 2, 3. With my pinky, I'm going to play the flat 7 for A, which is a G, and I'm going to just play that one note, right? Back to string 3, move my pinky back a half step, play 7 on string 2, lift that up, and play 5 on string 2. And here comes probably my favorite thing is just, it's a lick that I wrote that had an idea of a kind of a country cascading lick, meaning that we play open strings as we cascade up, right? So let's hear how this one sounds. Kind of cool, right? So it's going to start with the 8th fret on string 2. We're going to do a pull off, 8 to 7, open first string. Then on string 3, we're going to go 7 to 6, pull off, open second. Then on string 4, we're going to go 9, pull off to 7, and then open third. So just like that, one more time. The next one is a box shape from 9 to 12. So it's first finger on 9 on string 1, pinky on 12 on string 3, and 11 on string 4. Followed by an open 6. You can see that it will lead us into a bend on 15 on string 2. So you can put a bit of a vibrato in there too. It's just a whole step bend. And I had to write a classic, E minor pentatonic lick in there. So something like that is what I played, and it starts on string 1, and then we're going to do a pull off 15 to 12 on string 2, 14 on 3, back to 12 on 2. Next is a triple pull off. You're going to go string 3, 15, 14, 12. And then we're going to do 14 on 4, pivot down to 14 on 3, and pivot back up to 14 on 4, and then 12 on string 3. And then finally we can end on the E, which is the 14th fret of string 4. So that's the basic gist, just straight out of E minor pentatonic for that one. Remember that we, at this point, have transitioned from the A back to the E7, right? So that E minor pentatonic happens over that E7. So now it leads us into the turnaround, which is 5 to the 4. So here's what we got for B7. So very similar to that shape we just did in the intermediate one. So that's pretty much the same as what happened before. And this time around we're going to go string 3, 14, 13, 11. 14 on string 4, back to 11 on 3, and 13 on 4. Next one is a lick, I think I stole this one from Steve Vai. Yes, I did. I think from the Crossroads duel. I was a big fan when I was like 15. Anyways, so it takes the pinky and it slides up 14 to 17, and then 14 on string 1. Next, you move shapes down 15, 13, 12 on string 2. And then move down a half step again. We're going to go 14, 12, 11. And finally, we're going to go on string 4, 14, 11, slide to 7. And that's it. Cool. Now the very last part right here, we're on E7, so this is bar 11 and 12, and this is when the acoustic guitar cuts out. We're going to play, there's the first part. So it's all in that E minor pentatonic that we have at the beginning of the neck. So what we're going to do is we're going to play the open first string, pull off 3 to open on string 2, 2 on string 3, open second. Then we have a hammer-on pull-off on string 3, 2, 3, 2, 0. Just like that. So let's put it into context rhythmically speaking. Followed by 4th string, 2nd fret, and then open 3rd. Right, so there's the whole first part. Cool, that's up to speed. So the second half of it begins with the open A, and we're going to walk chromatic. Then the 4th string, open, hammer on to 2, pull off to open. Then back to 2 on string 5, open, hammer on to 1, back to 2, open 6. Cool. Now the last part is just going to end with a whole step bend on 15, string 2. That's basically the gist of it, guys. This was a lot of fun for me to do. The tabs follow everything note for note for the most part. I might have played something slightly different or taught something slightly different, but I think it's note for note pretty accurate. And this is just a lot of fun for you guys to play. It's totally usable stuff. Every time you go to a jam, what's the thing that you guys always play? Blues. What are some of the most common keys? E, A, C. You know, there's always like these standard keys that people play in. So I know, why don't we play an F sharp? Come on. But this is a good challenge. It's fun. Hopefully you guys take an interest in learning a bit more about theory and understanding what you're doing on the neck, because it opens up a whole new world for your playing. Instead of just, memorizing stuff or shapes and patterns. If you're interested in theory, we do have a complete over 200-page theory book written by one of Atlanta Institute of Music's teachers, Steve Rick, available for download. And it's only $7.95 on rockclass101.com in the store. So check that out. Remember, lessons for the site are only $3.95 a month. We're going to be doing lots more lessons like this. So if you're interested in playing lead guitar, rock guitar, solos, riffs, licks, things like that, and we still do have a whole bunch of lessons on chord melodies, So please do check that out and try it out for a month. I think you'll like it. Thanks, guys.